Welcome back to another episode of Your Road to Home. I'm Kendra Badgekar with LPT Realty here with
Maxine Carey of Guardian Mortgage.
We're really excited today. We're getting ready to pick up Sharon Eberhard, who's an outreach specialist with Life Stories. She's got an amazing story to share with you guys. She's been working locally here with CASA of Weld County, which you're going to really enjoy getting to learn about. I know we learned a lot about that just chatting with her briefly before picking her up here, but you guys are in for a treat today to get to learn a lot about how you can help out with the youth in our area here of Weld County. And so we're excited to get Sharon in the car and share her story with you guys.
Hi, Sharon.
Hi. It's windy out
It's
there.
a windy day.
Yes.
We'll get you all tucked into the middle.
Go to the middle.
Yep, go to the middle.
Sounds good.
We'll get you all tucked in and settled in.
We've all got our nice windblown hair today. It's
Yeah.
looking good.
Thanks for joining us, Sharon.
Well, thank you. Thanks for having me. I
Of
appreciate
course.
it.
We are so excited to have you here today.
Just looking for the buckle.
Yeah.
Okay.
We tell you, everybody, you got to buckle in because we want to keep you safe.
That's right.
The riders need to be safe.
Yep, you never know what can happen on the streets of Firestone.
That's right.
Go to the right one.
That's right. All right. Are you good?
Yes, thank you.
All right. We're taking off.
Okay.
Awesome. Well, Sharon, we're so excited for you to be here today. We shared a little bit about how we were learning from you before we even got in the car together. So we'd love for you to share with everyone just a little bit about yourself and your background and how you got started with Life Stories.
Alrighty. Well, I am a lifer pretty much in the Greeley area, but Weld County since 1960, but I wasn't born in 1960. So we'll just kind of go from there. And got involved with Life Stories. I'm celebrating my 6th year with them. I was a family advocate in the 90s. I was going into quartered homes to help teach parenting skills to families, and so they can keep their kids there with them. So did a few different things, real estate and hotel management, decided what do I really want to be when I grow up, and came to with Life Stories, just kind of going back that full circle of advocating for youth.
So you joined adulthood
I joined
with Life Stories, right?
Yes, that's right.
Okay,
I
good.
found my passion.
You
then.
found your
So
passion.
I coached for 22 years kids, and so as a head coach at a high school, and it's like it's time to enjoy doing that and wanted to work with them in a different way. So,
Well, you've probably seen the need too, like people
yes,
who internalize on some of their situations that happen at home
Yeah.
and just need help.
yes.
Well, tell us a little bit about Life Stories and the CASA program.
Okay. Life Stories, it used to be called a Kids Place,
Okay.
and we changed that name, about 8 or 9 years ago. The little logo was a little kid holding a teddy bear, and we serve youth from birth on up to 18, aging out of the system. And the older youth, it's like, I'm not a kid, I want to be treated as an older person. And so Life Stories comes, and the tagline is turning the page for a better tomorrow. That's the Life Stories, trying to change that life story. So, and we're a little bit different because we have all of our programs under one umbrella, and Life Stories is the 501c, the nonprofit. So we have the Children's Advocacy Center. Go to that briefly. That's we've got trained forensic interviewers on staff that receive referrals from law enforcement, child protection services, and they're able to interview kids who've been victims of abuse, generally sexual abuse, or witnesses to violent crime, and they're interviewed in a very safe family environment. We're not the investigators, but we do provide that interview that can be used for criminal prosecution if necessary, and also find out, is it true, is it not true, all of that.
Right. So were you referred from law enforcement, or tell me about that?
Actually, the CAC, they receive referrals from law enforcement, child protection services. So like if a call comes into the hotline, child protection hotline, it's investigated, and then they decide, okay, we need to really find out what's going on here, and that's when we get our referrals for that.
Got it.
So we've got 2 locations for that. We've got one in Greeley and one in Fort Lupton, and Fort Lupton serves all of South County, so that's including the Carbon Valley area. We work really strongly with our Frederick, Firestone, Tacoma Police Departments. So, and then CASA, yes, about that. So that's court-appointed special advocate. were listening to this earlier, but we recruit and train volunteers to advocate for children and open dependency cases because of abuse and neglect, and then they serve as the voice of the child in the courtroom. So we're only serving about 25% of the cases in the courts right now, so we just don't have enough volunteers, and we're really needing volunteers in the Carbon Valley area. We have some incredible ones, but we need more. So,
Sure.
yeah. So their roles, they get to, once they are assigned a case and accept a case, they get to know that the youth or sibling group on a weekly basis. They visit them weekly, and they've got access to, since they are court appointed, they have access to medical records, school records, the case itself, and try and any other professionals that are on the case, and then any adults that may have an impact on that child's life. And they advocate for what the youth want and also what's in their best interest. So that's part of that.
Very cool.
Yeah, we have about 82 to 85 volunteers right now, and served about 120 youth this last, actually it's more than that, I'm sorry, 235 youth, I apologize, this last year. And that's a lot of youth being served, but there's a lot of youth that aren't being served.
Sure.
So is a volunteer an advocate, or is that different?
There's different. So the volunteer with the CASA program is the court-appointed special advocate, and they are a volunteer.
Okay.
It's a volunteer position. So it's about 10 to 15 hours a month volunteer time, and then about an 18-month commitment. Could be less, could be more, but we want to make sure that we have that one constant adult really getting to know those kids, and they need to have that constant adult to know that they're listening and advocating for what
Well,
what
trust,
needs to happen.
yeah, because trust isn't built in a second, so that's why
Right.
you need that consistency.
Yeah.
So, because the trust may not be built for a couple of months.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And there is a federal mandate that youth who are 6 and under be placed in a safe permanent home within 12 months. But if the parents are getting their stuff together, that could be longer. So, and especially if there's other siblings involved, but they want to make sure that kid is in a stable home environment as soon as possible. So,
Right.
yeah.
And that was a misconception that I had. I thought the CASA advocates was like a foster parent, which is not the case. It really is an advocate. They're,
Yep.
it's kind of like big brother, big sister, right?
Yeah, kind of like that. So they are that mentor, but they get to be the ears and eyes of the judge and make those recommendations that they feel are in the, what the youth wants and what's in their best interest. So, so the volunteers could be visiting these kids. They could still be in the biological home where one or both parents needed to have a little bit more training or services to be able to make that a good environment for the kids. If it's not safe, they're not going to be there. As long as there's a safe environment, let's help with those resources in there to make sure that they can be productive adults and that the kids can thrive. So there's like we talk about minimum sufficient level of care, and that's housing, education, clothing, food. Those things are being provided for those kids. They're going to stay in that home. Statistics show that kids do better if they're in the biological home.
Right.
Like I said, if it's not safe, it's not going to happen. So what they look for, if that's not a safe place, they look at what's called kinship. So maybe another family member would be a possibility. There's home studies done on family members or close family friends. They still have those ties, still have that biological tie.
Right.
And if that's not available, then that's where they might go into foster care and then try and find permanent placement for them. So, yeah. So it's just, it's unfortunate that we have to have these programs,
Right.
but it's also fortunate for those kiddos that they've got someone looking out for them.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
You shared a little bit of the history about this with us. Can you talk about that again and how it originated? And then how many CASA programs we have here in Colorado?
Yeah, I sure can. This started CASA started in 1977 in Seattle with a judge who was he felt like he just didn't have enough information to make those life-changing decisions for these youth.
Yeah.
So he mentored the program back then. And I got to meet him, Judge Sukup is what his name was.
Very cool.
And and he it just grew. So now every state except for North Dakota has it. I just think it must be too cold in North Dakota to be able to have a program up there. I don't know why. I mean, Alaska has one, Hawaii has one, but we have 18 programs here in Weld County. So, in Colorado. We Life Stories underneath that umbrella is CASA of Weld County. So,
Very cool.
But yeah, 18 programs. It's much needed. And there's some counties that don't have the representation, but we just support those counties as best as we can.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
So what are you looking for an ideal volunteer?
You know what? People think that they have to have history of education or in like psychology or something like that. You just have to be 21 and over, be able to pass background checks. It's very strict. It's child abuse registry, motor vehicle, Colorado background checks, CBI, FBI, and now fingerprinting. But you just have to have a heart. You want to support these youth. This is our future.
Right.
And just making sure that they're able to become productive adults like we want them to be. It's so hard because a lot of people don't want to work with the older youth, but that's where we need it the most.
Right. Yeah.
So
Absolutely. Well, if that's something that's tugging at your heartstrings out there as you're listening to this, we'll make sure and have a link in the description on here so you can get connected with that and
Yes.
get in there to help out, because that is much needed for sure.
It is very much so. Yeah. It's just it's an incredible program. The volunteers are teamed up with a supervisor, so you're not there by yourself. You've got help. And I was mentioning earlier, the laws are changing so much, so our programs change. So that's
Right.
where the misconception was that it's all foster care, and it's not. It's just, you're just making sure that they're staying in a safe environment. They're getting the education they need. They've got someone listening, and going from there is what we need.
I love that.
Right. Now, the commitment for an advocate is 18 months, but what is the training for an advocate?
The training is about 35 hours, and we've got two different kinds that we do throughout the year. June and October, we have in-person training, and that's if you're more of a classroom learner, that's what that's for. But what we found, especially since COVID and our county is so big, we do one that's called guided learning. So it's a 5-week self-study, independent study, that we email you your curriculum once a week, like session 5, the curriculum, session 1, 5 times, and you do the work on your own. You email in screenshots of the different quizzes or any other homework that's done, and then you also do a weekly check-in via Zoom. So it's
with a supervisor?
with whoever the trainer is.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
So yeah, I was the only trainer for the first couple of years with that, but all of our supervisors are now doing the training too. And it's just we've been able to get more volunteers because as large as the county is, for someone to get off work at 5, drive, be there by 5:30, be there for 3.5 hours, turn around, drive home, and be productive the next day at work is just really difficult. So guided learning has been great. But we were approved by National CASA to be able to provide that training, and it's definitely been helpful for us.
That's wonderful.
So as you know, I know you are local to the Weld County / the Carbon Valley you're supporting. But if anyone's listening to us that is outside of Colorado, is there a national number that they can get in touch with to get information on their CASA program?
Actually, what they can do is just Google their county and just do CASA of Weld County. Say Kansas, CASA of Marshall County, which I have to say there's not one there. So don't go there with Marshall County. But there's different, or even let's say Kansas CASA. That's going to give you the different programs that are available in that state.
Okay.
Good to know.
Yeah.
And if someone wants to help out, but maybe they don't feel like they can commit enough to volunteer, what are some other ways that we can, help provide or?
Thank you. We have different events throughout the year that we can use volunteer help from, or help with. And so we just had our gala in April. That's a one and done if that's what you're looking for. We have a lot of different companies that they allow their staff to be able to go and volunteer and get hours for that. So there's one that's coming up in September 21st. That's our superhero race. It's our 12th annual superheroes race, and it's a very fun, family-filled day, 5K, 10K certified, and then fun runs and kind of like a carnival-ish
Well,
feel.
that's awesome. Where's that going to be?
It's in the Funplex in Greeley.
Okay.
But like we have coming up June 1st is our Pole for Youth Clay Shoot Competition at Colorado Clays in Brighton. So we try and do something in South County also just to help support. And that's cool because the Firestone and Frederick, they compete against each other. We have a traveling trophy for
That's
first
awesome.
responders for this, so for teams and stuff. But my understanding is they've got their teams going. Getting
Oh,
together.
that's
So,
awesome.
yes.
That's probably what I've seen them outside practicing for.
There's a competition between Frederick and Firestone, really?
No, just a
Who would
little
have
bit.
known?
And then
Just a
Greeley
little
and Eden, and yeah, they all compete against each other for that.
That's
Fun.
awesome.
Very respectful.
Who's the
Of
current
course.
champion?
Greeley is.
Oh, Greeley.
It's been
is.
very close though, because Firestone and Frederick are right there. So it's awesome, and it's been the fire department too. So it's not just police officers. It's just a lot of different. It's fun. It's a lot of fun. It's just very low key, and they get breakfast and lunch and get to go compete.
That's very cool.
Yeah. And then we also have one other thing on July 16th. It's Tuesday, July 16th. We do an event that's called Save Jane. And the purposes of it, this is started in Texas, but Weld County, there's more than 4,000 youth assessed for abuse and neglect annually, just in our county. So we get the list of the names and ages from Department of Human Services, and then we replace the name, so that's real people, real kiddos, replace the name with John Doe, Jane Doe, Wando, and Wanna Doe, and we read those names. And so we can use help. We ask you to read 50 names at a time, and it takes us from about 10:30 in the morning till 3:30 in the afternoon to read those more than 4,000 youth. So they're real people, change the names, but it brings awareness just that this is occurring. So
Right.
it's in our county.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's July 16th, Tuesday, July 16th.
And where's that?
It's down in Lincoln Park right by the courthouse because we serve the 19th Judicial District, and that's right on the court, not at the steps. We couldn't get on the steps, but there's a gazebo there, and we just do that because that's where the court hearings are. That's where everything happens, so that's where we do it.
So I was just thinking, for all you parents who are about to have your last senior graduate, this is another good extension of, being a parent, and helping one of these kids. Like if you're feeling that empty spot, maybe reach out and be a CASA advocate, for some other kid who needs you as you're letting your birds fly into the world, right?
Right.
That's right. Well, and you want them to care about their community and
Yeah.
have them be philanthropic and find something that just is endearing to them or heartwarming to them. And like I said, our youth, that's our future.
Yeah.
So having that, yeah.
Absolutely. Not a better place to invest in right now.
Yeah, that's right. Well, Sharon, thank you so much for chatting with us about life stories, and we're going to just take a minute to get to know you a little bit.
Okay.
You are actually about to retire from Life Stories.
I am. Let's see here, May 15th. That's my last day.
Wow, right around
And
the
I'll be at the
corner.
Carbon Valley Chamber before hours as a hurrah there. So I'm
Nice.
excited about that, yes.
So we should bring you a cake, a retirement cake.
That's right, that's right. And it's at the Frederick Firestone Fire Department.
Oh,
So
right, at the
that's
fire
where that
department.
one is, yes.
Yeah.
But we are going to be moving. We've got some great people coming in to take my place. And I
You
don't
need
know-
two people to take your place,
yeah,
right?
we have two people coming.
Yeah.
One's been hired for fundraising and development manager, but then the CASA program is just so important that got to really focus on that for our county.
And
But-
we'll have Susan at some point. She just kind of
Yeah.
wanted to get her wheels under her a little bit.
Yeah, she's still getting used to talking about life stories. She's was the Success Foundation, and also Greeley Philharmonic, Greeley Chorale. She's been a lot of event planning. That's been her history. So
That's
she's going to do a
great.
great
Well, we look
job.
forward to talking to Susan at some point.
Thank you.
But what about you? You're about to retire. You're going to
Retire.
go closer to grandkids, right?
Yep. I have 12 grandkids in 4 states. So Marysville, Kansas, I was talking about Marshall County. I know that they don't have a CASA program. People said, do you want to start one? I'm going, No.
I just retired. What?
Yes, I'm going to spend time with my grandkids.
Yeah.
So excited about that. Like I said, lived in Weld County most of my life, and so it's going to be different, but it's a really cool community, and just really excited about being able to have that time with family. So,
Well,
That's awesome.
we're happy for you. Do you have a favorite
Thank you.
place in Carbon Valley restaurant you like to eat? Or?
I like Peel. That's a great place.
Yes.
Peel's awesome.
Mhm.
They've done a lot of different places for the Carbon Valley, the after hours. So I've gone to different places. It's okay. For that.
We're still rolling.
Peel's good. Georgia Boys. I'm trying to think of all the different places that I've had an opportunity to eat. I can't think of what the place is down here by the restaurant down here.
Peppers.
Peppers.
Mhm.
Oh,
That's a great place.
Peppers
So,
is
so
a
my,
big favorite.
my favorite, I just like food, so
Yeah.
it's okay. And you were asking me earlier my favorite book. With this time frame that I've been doing this, I got to meet an author. It's called Steve Pemberton.
Mm-hmm.
He wrote The Lighthouse Effect, and we think about lighthouses as being the safe beacon that's there, and it
Yeah.
turns out he was in the foster care system, and his whole story is in this. But actually, he had lighthouses in his life, meaning people, but they steered them away from trouble, and that's what a lighthouse is. It actually lets you know that there's a rock formation or something. You're supposed to steer away from that.
Right.
So the people in his life were lighthouses. So it's the lighthouse effect. It's really cool read. Just because I'm a little nerdy, and I want to just read about child abuse and neglect, but it's very heartwarming that with the help that he had, he was able to become a very I don't mean functional, he's highly functional, but amazing adult. So
That's
just
awesome.
spokesperson.
We're
Yeah,
gonna have to check that book out. That sounds like a good read
Yeah,
for
that
sure.
is awesome.
it is.
What's your favorite thing to do on the weekends here in Carbon Valley?
Carbon Valley, actually, I'm an avid bicycle rider, so I
yeah.
get on the trails.
Very cool.
I'll be on yes, I love my bicycle. So it's give me a 30-mile ride and I'll be great.
Are you going to
awesome.
be able to do that in Kansas? Where are you going? Is there a
Yes.
bunch of snow where you're?
Nope, it's not snow. There's the Big Blue River, and they do their half marathon, and which I've come and helped with the Carbon Valley half marathon before. I love the finish line to tell everybody, great job,
Yeah.
as they're heaving, but
As they're heaving.
but they've got a great bike trail. So then actually that river goes between two of my daughters, so it's kind of a cool thing there too. So,
That's
yeah.
awesome.
That's
Very
amazing.
cool. Well, I apologize for our technical difficulties here.
It's
With
okay.
Yeah, we're
this is
uh,
now my jiggly arm.
But we do what we have to do.
That's right.
That's right.
We do what we have to do. So, anyway, Sharon, thank you so much
Thank
for visiting with us and riding along with us today. We sure do appreciate your time and what
Yes.
you've done for the community. We will leave links in the bottom to life stories, and if anyone has any need to reach out and be an advocate, please do so.
Yes.
We thank you for your time. We look forward to seeing you again on your road to home.
Awesome. Thank you so
Bye,
much.
everyone.
All right. Bye for now.
And you can reach out to us at lifestoriesweld.org if you'd like more information. But I also want to thank the Carbon Valley Chamber for Life Stories received the Nonprofit of the Year award from their
Congratulations.
chamber. So thank you for the support from the community on that. Appreciate it.